Hello students, my name is Jennifer Lucero and I'm a teaching artist with Any Given Child. Today we're going to learn how to write your movie, how to write a screenplay. Have you ever wondered how to write your own screenplay? How did they get all those ideas on how to write movies? Do you like to go to the movie theater with your family and friends? Today we're going to find out how to do all of that. I know right now it's pretty strange times. You're not going to school, you're not able to see your friends as much. Maybe some of you aren't able to see your family. But I find that writing is a good thing for me to do to take my mind off things. And doing something like this, get your creative juices flowing and definitely get a cool project in the works. So the materials that you're going to need for today. Get your favorite notebook ready. You might need your pens and pencils, different colors for sure. If you have markers, that's fine. Different colors are always needed. An open mind. An open mind means that you are open to ideas. You're going to need worksheet 1 with screenplay prompts. Okay? That's a worksheet. It has lots of squares and a lot of different kinds of prompts and questions on there. And there's also a worksheet 2 that has a script called PB's Adventures. So you'll also need that. Those are your materials. So if you need to pause the video for 1 or 2 minutes to make sure that you have your notebook, pens and pencils, and your 2 worksheets ready, you can do that. Okay, so let's talk about some vocab. So a screenplay. A screenplay is a roadmap of a movie. It includes the acting instructions and the scene directions. What is a character? The character are the people of the screenplay that it's based around. Who are some of your favorite characters in your movies? I can think of tons of different characters that I have loved. I can think of some characters that I haven't liked either. Characters don't have to be someone you like. It can be someone you don't like as well. And dialogue. Have you heard of that word before? Dialogue is what the characters discuss. It's what they talk about with each other in each screenplay. More vocabulary would be an action. Okay, but in a screenplay, action is the screen description. It's the character movement. It's the sounds even. Don't forget sound. So when I talk about action in a screenplay, it's always describing the scene, it's always the character movement, and it's always the sound. A feature film is a screenplay longer than 1 hour. You could have also heard of a short film. Short films are something that we might be focusing on right now, which are very short one-page films. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we went over some vocabulary. We're going to be talking about what's going on. We're going to be talking about types of movies, genre, how to begin writing your own movie. We're going to go over the flashcard activity, how to figure out your characters and what they're going for in your screenplay. And then finally, we're going to talk about the screenplay format. Cool. So, where do movies come from? Okay. Does someone just walk down the street and find it just sitting on the sidewalk? Where do screenplays actually come from? Where do movies come from? They come from someone's imagination. They could come from your imagination too. So, has anyone thought about this question? Is making movies an art? It is. It is an art. So how do you make movies? How is making movies an art? Let me tell you a couple pointers. First, you have to develop your characters. Your characters have to have needs. They have to have different kinds of wants. And you have to help your characters solve problems. Okay? This is going to come up a lot in our conversation in the next couple of minutes. Okay? You also have to create the scenes that your characters act in. Okay? Also, you have to direct the sounds and the pictures to tell the story. So all of these things, the sounds, the pictures, the way the characters talk and what they want, this is the art of making movies. So let's look at a couple of pictures. I want you to look at this next picture. Look at these two people. What kind of dialogue do you imagine these two characters are having based on their facial expressions and their body language? When I look at this picture, I see that those two people are trying to solve a problem. And so I look and I say, oh no, maybe they're trying to solve a problem to save the world. That's a good movie idea. These two people, well, how did they meet? Now I'm starting to dig deeper. Character 1 and character 2, maybe they were classmates and they were given a problem to solve and now they have to save the world. Really, the possibilities are endless. This next picture. What kind of dialogue do you imagine these characters are having based off their body language? You see all of their hands are put together in a circle and they're holding hands. Write down a couple of ideas in your notebook. What do you think, what kind of conversation do you think these people were having that they would put all their hands together in a circle? Have you ever done that with your friends? I think the kind of dialogue they may have had was that they're in this together. Maybe they all decided to take on a very hard task and they decided, we're in this together, we're going to go in this together. Maybe that they tried to save someone's life. So look at pictures now and try to decide what story brought this picture to be. Here's another picture of a person. They have their eyes closed and they have the sun on their face. What kind of inner dialogue? Remember, dialogue is the conversation. A conversation. What kind of inner dialogue do you imagine this character is having based off this picture? Take a minute to think. When someone has their eyes closed and they are kind of maybe praying, or maybe they're thinking very hard. Maybe they're going through something very hard, or maybe they're trying to just figure out life. Write down a couple of different sentences that you think that this person could be having. This next picture, these two girls looking at each other, it looks like they're talking, right? What kind of action? Remember we learned that word action. What kind of action can you describe happening in this scene? Write down a couple of ideas in your notebook. Two girls are kind of talking. It looks like they're coming up with a couple of ideas. Now this next picture, you could probably relate to this picture. Here's a student and he's working very hard with his classmates. But I want you to imagine the sound, and can you describe the sound that is happening in this scene? So let's define another word, genre. Genre means each genre is unique in the types of stories they tell and in the way they are written. Have you ever heard that word? It's kind of a funny word. I don't really like to say it, and it's spelled weird. I always want to say genre or something, but it's pronounced genre, okay? Genre. So a genre is like a type of movie, and we're going to go over those. Maybe you have a certain type of genre that you like, and once we go over those, you're going to be able to tell. So certain types of genre: comedy, romantic, horror movies, a Western movie, a drama, action, adventure, a sci-fi, fantasy. What does this mean? What do those movies mean? Can you think of some movies that you've seen that fall into those categories? Comedy, romantic, drama. Are any of those some of your favorites? I'm going to define a couple of those for you. My favorite genre would be drama. A comedy, that makes you laugh a lot. Anytime you see a movie that makes you laugh a lot, that's a comedy. A drama, that's usually about people and their problems. What about a horror movie? Those movies are really scary. Have you ever seen a Western movie? That usually has cowboys in it. What about a sci-fi fantasy movie? Those movies are about places where we haven't discovered or never will. It's all about imagination in the sci-fi fantasy. And you can usually Google movies like what movies are sci-fi, what movies are comedy. Romantic movies, that usually involves love between people. So decide what kind of movies you like and what genre that you're attracted to. That's a lot of information about movies. I'm pretty sure that the wheels in your brain are spinning, aren't they? So where do you begin? Decide what kind of genre you would like to write in. Is the story cooking in your head? I have an idea. I have this method called the flashcard method. This is the way to find out your character. Because remember, screenplays are about characters. So you have to find out who the screenplay is about. Where are they? What kind of sounds are in the movie? Get ready, because we're going to figure out all about your character, where they are, and what they hear. Okay. So, the flashcards. So let's read some of these flashcard prompts to get some of your creative juices flowing. So get your prompt out. I'm going to read a couple of them for you. So the first card says, what is your main character's name? What do they look like? Do they have a favorite color? Think of your main character. Well, I'm just going to name a couple characters. My main character, well, that's my puppy. And my puppy's name is Petey. My puppy is so cute. She looks like she's fluffy, and she's black and brown. Her favorite color, she doesn't really have one, but her favorite hobby is definitely eating. Where does the story take place? Location. What kind of sounds do we hear? Well, usually my puppy is asleep in my bed, so it's definitely in my soft, fluffy bed. What kind of sounds do I hear? Probably my radio, and probably the sounds outside, because I have a very noisy apartment. And what do we see? Definitely my room, my posters that are hanging up, and my messy bedroom. Sorry, Mom. What kind of genre do I imagine writing? Definitely a comedy, because my puppy is really funny. Do you see where I'm getting at? You can just use your imagination. There is no wrong answer here. So think of your character and fill out all the blocks here. take a couple minutes and just fill it out. What are some of your main characters' wants? My puppy, she's always hungry, so she definitely wants salami. She wants pasta, she likes some pasta, and she wants cheese, okay? I don't know why, she really likes cheese. So that's the flashcard prompt. So I hope that gets you kind of thinking. After you do the flashcard prompt, you have some good ideas to start writing your screenplay. The format is not, it might look kind of hard, but it's actually not hard at all. All you need to do is get out a piece of paper and a pen. You can use a title page, think of your title, use abbreviations like INT for interior, which means inside, or EXT for exterior, which means outside. And don't worry about typing it out on a computer. You can just write it out for when you first write it. I typed it out because I like to type. But when I first wrote screenplays, I always wrote it out in my journal. Here's an example of a screenplay I wrote. See, INT, day. It's during the day. And you see, puppy. I wrote puppy in all caps. I'm going to read a little bit. Interior, day. Early morning. Sunlight on the bed. Sleeping puppy wakes up, and her ears perk up. She looks around. Puppy. Morning time. No sleep. I was asleep for 15 hours. I cannot sleep anymore. The puppy twitches her small black nose. We hear a grumble. Puppy. Hey, I'm hungry now. So do you see how I write a little bit about what the puppy's doing and where she is? But I also write about what she says, her dialogue. So don't hold back, and there's really no wrong way to do this. Just write about your character and what she's doing, or what he's doing. So my puppy has a problem, huh? She woke up, but she's hungry. You see, I wrote, we hear a grumble. What do you think is grumbling? It's her belly, because she's hungry. My puppy's always hungry. I think she would probably eat my foot if I let her, okay? So that's what a screenplay looks like. So I took, here's more examples of a screenplay. So I took my cards, I wrote out my character, I found out what her name was, I found out what she likes to do, she likes to eat, I found out where she likes to hang out, on my bed, and then I started to write about her in my screenplay. So, keep on writing. That is the best thing that you can do at this moment. You don't have to feel like you have to type it out. It doesn't have to be about your pet. That's just the character I chose. It could be about you. Your screenplay could be about you. It could be about you and your brother or sister. Your screenplay could be about someone that you made up. It could be about a superhero. It could be about your mom or dad. It could be anything that you want it to be. Just keep writing until it's at least 1 page. But there's no limit, okay? I say 1 page, but you could write 2 pages or 3 pages. I'm not telling you what to do as far as it needs to be like this, and if it's not like this, it's wrong. I'm encouraging you that you can do it and that you can begin writing your movie today. So thank you so much for joining me today, young future writers, future screenwriters. My name is Jennifer Lucero. Again, you can contact me at jmlucero2@gmail.com. I would love to read your scripts and give you feedback if you want. And thank you for joining me for this wonderful video, and thank you again.